Yo, what is up guys? It is your boy Twehbie here, and this will be a video of the skill build of Valkyrie. Now I will be putting every single skill into account for either PvP or PvE, what my thoughts are on them. So let's get it cracking. So first off, we got ourselves a hell of a lot of skills. Now I'm going to reskill straight up, so let's see where we can get. Using a skill reset for this. Now the gust wind, you will need this skill for your, where the fuck is it, your gale shot. You need to get it to level 5, which is your main damaging skill for this class. Both PvE and PvP maximize this, as well as the gale shot easy mode. Now the flash strike, I'm honestly not quite sure what I want to do with this thing, and I'm going to tell you why. Now if you look at the video, it shows you that it has semi-decent range, but if you look closely, it will show that the last Avial does not get hit after he's pushed back, so the range on this skill is not really that great. And for PvE, if you're stuck against certain monsters, I'm not very sure whether you would like this skill or not. As well as in PvP, it will allow people to use left and right mouse button counters. So honestly, for PvP, I would say 1 or max, and the same for PvE, 1 or max. But at least get the skill because it looks fancy as shit. Now the spin crash spear, I would say get it to 1 point, both PvE and PvP. I don't like the damage all that much, and you have better skills anyway. Now both PvE and PvP, get it to level 1. Now the device shoot is without a doubt one of your most annoying skills in PvP, as well as most damaging skill on PvE, so maximize this. The lock on target shoot, now I'm very debating whether this skill is nice. I would say for PvP, maximize it. Simply because of one reason. You can combo chain this one and knock somebody out of the fucking field. So if you knock somebody down, you can auto lock them and shoot them for no apparent reason. I would say maximize this in PvP, get it to level 1 or level 3 for the multi-target shot, because this thing is pretty necessary. So level 3 at the very minimum. Now the jump shooting, I would say for PvE, get it to level 1. Or if you do it for PvP, get it to the maximum level, because the shockwave range is actually pretty good. Although the damage, I'd say, like the scaling, it seems pretty good, but in all fairness, I'm not very sure. So it's either level 1 or maximize it. I would say I'll keep it at level 1 in either case. Shooting ray, ultimate skill, get it to maximum level, main damaging skill, and it's also, you could use it in PvP because of the relocation. Now, as well as the big boom, obviously for PvE purposes, if you go pure PvP, obviously don't get it, because it's not useful in PvP, because it's not even working. Now, the upper kick is your only lifting skill within this game, aside from some silly mechanics with the spear pierce, because that thing actually hits and stuns people once they're on the ground, and you can combo it throughout the whole thing with the addition to it with the break spin. So 2 skills for up knocking. One is the upper kick, one the spear pierce. Now the addition to the upper kick, which is the shell buster, could do a lot of damage, but I would say nah, I'm not a real fan. So keep it either level 1 or 0, or if you really like the addition of the shell buster because you like the damage for no apparent reason, because I don't see any point of getting this, even though you get an iframe. Now this is honestly like physical damage bullets 4 times. Like the scaling is pretty good for both PvE and PvP, but the chances of hitting it is really fucking low. I would not honestly put this on a high pedestal. Like maximize it if you like the damage and the iframe. If not, just keep it at level 1, I'd say. Now, next skill, fast moving. Get this skill to the maximum level. This will increase the range on the distance that you can travel, as well as the pierce that you can do afterward, which is basically the only PvP skill that I really would say maximize it. Because this is basically like a deceptive cutter, but then more range. It is ridiculous. Now the spear pierce, I'm not quite fond of the damage. Although it kills pretty well and it stuns pretty good as well. For PvP, I would say maximize it. For PvE, nah. I would say level 1 because you are going for the addition instead. And this way you can save up SP. So let's get this to level 1. The gravity cannon. You need to get this to level 5 simply because you are going to need it for the anti-gravity cannon, which is level 3. And then you can get it to level 3. Fuck that. Leaving. Like, the damage isn't all that great. It has a slow wind up, so it's easily to counter. And in PvE, I don't use it for damage at all. If you like the big ass AoE damage and you really feel like you need to, you could maximize it, but I wouldn't honestly do it. Now I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm sorry. Like, if you look at the damage scaling, it is a one single physical hit, and the scaling is only about 30-ish percent. No, not even that. The scaling just sucks. Fuck it. Level 3 is enough. Now, for the multi-target shot, this thing actually does some damage in PvP. Now, once you maximize this, it actually shoots about 5 bullets if you use the air shoot target, which is the addition to the other one, which is the air target shot, and it uses the same damage. So if you use it in PvE as a single target damage, it actually is pretty good, because the scaling is, let's see, it is 10% per shot, meaning it's 50% per skill point that you put into it, but it does not have the highest priority, so it's either level 1 or maximum in PvP or in PvE. And in PvP, I would say just get it to level 3 so you can get yourself the addition to it, the air target shoot, which is obviously maximized in 1 point. Now the device enchant is pretty insane, because if you hit somebody with 100% chance, it will give you a movement speed debuff, which is freaking insane. Now, it lasts for 40 seconds, and the cooldown is 90 seconds for PvE and 120 for PvP. I would say maximize the skill if you have the points. It is ridiculous. Because this movement speed, I think on maximum level you get 5% each, so you have about 20 more levels to go. That is 1, 2, 3. You could get yourself about 45% of speed reduction, which is fucking ridiculous. Now the flamethrower, maximize this for PvE, and you can combo this as well in PvP, so I would say maximize it. The damage itself, meh, debatable, but I would say it's still fun. What else would you want? It's a flamethrower. Maximize it. The photon cannon. Now, honestly, I'm not a big fan of this skill. The wind up on this thing is insane. You can shoot it. Be happy about it. The scaling is great. But in all fairness, I would not maximize this skill. You would never hit this in PvP, and in PvE, if you do it, you'll die. If this has a skill book, on the other hand, maximize it. Like, most of the time skill book skills are amazing. So yeah, either level 1 for funsies and like final flashes, references, I don't know. I like Vegeta, just saying. Alright, so moving on. Evasive dash, obviously maximize it. The backstab, pure PvP skill. PvE, it's not worth it. The escape, get at least 1 point into it, or just put 1 point into it, because the scaling on this thing sucks. And the damage straight off sucks as well. Falling heal, I don't like this skill. If you like to step on people and troll them, get 1 point. Otherwise, don't get it at all. The heaven down spin, maximize this skill. Simply because it does a lot of damage, a lot of scaling, hits 9 times. And the scaling on PvP is actually pretty good as well, from what I've heard. In all fairness, would I do it? Not quite sure. Let's just keep this at what it is right now. The holding shot, 1 point is enough. You need to use the iframes, and it is very great for using after the spin crash spear, which is decent. The shell Vulcan, I honestly don't like this skill, even for a first skill, but you can actually use it to hang on top of the air and then use your Q afterwards. So it gives you a mobility mess up. So for PvP, get 1 point into it. For PvE, keep it to 0 because it's really not worth it. Grounding shot. Now, I honestly like this skill. Could do a lot of damage, and it pulls people into your AoE range, which is amazing. So get that skill to max for both PvE and PvP. The Air Technician 1 point is more than enough for both PvE and PvP. For PvE, I use it to get out of situations, and for PvP, you can use it to get yourself a first hit. So, could be decent. The auto reboot, this is... yeah, 1 point in both PvE PvP. It's still really useful. As for the moving shot cannon, level 1 is more than enough. The scaling is not great, and you cannot really spam this skill. But you will need to use it for suppression purposes, basically. Alright, so the Spear Pierce, I stand corrected. You need to get this to level 5 at the very minimum to get yourself this skill. Break Spin. Now, as you can see, my SP is almost done, but knowing that after level 50 to maximum, you will get more SP because you are at 1 point at level 50 where you need to do all of these startup skills when you can decide not to maximize some shit. Now, the operations, I like this skill. It does some damage, and at level 1 it's maximum, so it's funny to have. Now, as for the masteries, maximize everything except for the increased bullet numbers. Once you get this skill, the auto reboot, you don't have to have like a lot of increase of bullets. It only shows